Hey, good morning, Nick. Good afternoon, everybody, wherever you're at. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Give it a couple of minutes before we see if we can get some people in here. Today, I'm going to go over lineup for today. Gavin still makes his first start since coming off of injury. And Freddie Freeman makes his first spring start of 2026 today against the Guardians at Camelback Ranch, and the game will be aired at around 12:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, be 1:05 if you're in Arizona time. So today's lineup, it's Miguel Rojas is going to start at shortstop. Kyle Tucker is going to start at right field. Will Smith is going to be catching today. As I just mentioned, Freddie Freeman is going to make his first start of the season, of the spring season, today at first base. Teoscar Hernandez is going to be in left field. Paz in center. Freeland at second base. Senzel at third base. Hirio as a designated hitter. And we're going to have Gavin Stone as the pitcher. What up? I didn't really see it, Roy. So I really don't get involved in a whole bunch of stuff like that. So whatever. I mean, could it be real or fake? I don't know. I don't know Pete Crow Armstrong that well. I just know that he's from the Southern California area. And if he did make a statement like that, then, it doesn't really bug me because I've been to Dodger Stadium many times, covered games down on the field, and sat in the seats. And I know that Dodger fans are pretty loyal to the team and get pretty excited, and they pay attention to the game that is happening. And just in this chat and other chats that I've seen, everybody is very informative and is very well versed on the players, the Dodgers' history, the management, and everything Dodgers. So, he can say what he wants. Don't really care. Or whoever made the statement. But all good. So, yeah, we're going to go over Gavin Stone. So, he's going to make his first start. Actually saw him make his first live BP when I was in Arizona. I was in the backfields watching some of the prospects that were going on. That was when Jackson Ferris and Copen and were doing their bullpen, one of their first bullpens. So I was getting some coverage on that. And then the list that they hand out, I moved over and got to catch Gavin Stone's first light BP, which was really good. He seemed pretty confident that was up there when he's up there throwing. He didn't throw for very long. I'd say for like maybe about 5 minutes or so. Hey, Showtime, how's it going? But yeah, he did okay. He was doing pretty good. Mark Pryor seemed to be very happy with it. He did strike Hassan Kim out, and they didn't get very many hits, but he didn't really pitch a whole lot. So. Is Ryan Ward another high prospect who rakes in the minors and comes up another bust? I don't know. I've been a big advocate for Ryan Ward for a long time. I was one of the guys that was, hitting the drum, asking, why is Conforto in there? Give Ward a chance to see what he can do last year. Is he not doing too well this year? Yes, he's not doing too well. I'm actually really surprised. In our Discord channel that we have, I actually stated that I'm on the verge of selling my Ryan Ward stock, especially if he's not going to do his best to try and make the team as a backup. He's never going to be a starter for the team. I think even before Kyle Tucker signed, I always thought that the Dodgers were going to pick somebody up eventually, and that he would be a backup into left field. But yeah, I'm a little disappointed right now. But he's only played 2 games, so I'm willing to give him a little bit more of a chance to see what he can do, uh, especially if he comes in today. Hopefully, he can get a hit or something. It looks like he's trying too hard. It's kind of like with Hassan Kim. His first couple of games that he had, he looked really well. During batting practice, he looks really good. Uh, During his live BPs, he's hit the ball, very well. But yesterday it looked like he was back to the old Hassan Kim of like chasing pitches on the outside. Yes, he did get the one hit, but it looked like he was chasing quite a bit, and he was kind of reverting back to what he used to look like. So I'm not totally giving up on Ryan Ward. Would I say that he's overhyped? Yeah, um, it may look like that right now, but, honestly, I think it's more of a head game for him personally, and once he gets his head on straight, I think he'll do just fine. Freeland looked great yesterday. Freeland looked really well yesterday. Super excited for him with his nice, opposite field hit, that scored 2 runs. Yeah, he's looking really good and making the case to, um maybe, get that position of, getting second base since Tommy Edman is going to be out and not gonna make the opening day and probably gonna miss a few games, probably about the first month, and so it's gonna be coming down to, um, Freeland and Hassan Kim, to, for that position. Hobbs and Hurd also looked gross, especially Hobbs. It's like yeah, I mean, those 2 looked really good. I saw Kyle Hurt, throwing, before his game, while I was there. His stuff looks amazing. His velocity is up. I posted a video of him during his bullpen session, and the catcher's glove was just getting pounded by almost every throw that he was throwing in there. So Kyle Hurt's looking really good. It's going to be very tough to keep him off of the 26 man, but yeah, he's looking solid. There's some other players who are making good impressions. Yeah, they are, and we'll get into those. Um, First, I kind of wanted to go over Gavin Stone, and because he is making his first start since coming off his shoulder surgery, and hopefully, if it goes the way it's been going, he may only get like 1 inning. I'd like to see him get about 2 innings, maybe 3, just to see what it is. But it's been reported already that his velocity tick has gone up. He's sitting around 95, which is kind of where he was at before he got hurt. His average speed for his four seam fastball was, typically sat around 95 miles an hour. So that's a good sign for him. I want to see his changeup, which his changeup looked really good in his live BP that I saw, but it was a little bit more inconsistent, and I want to see if that's going to be in his range that he was sitting at, before he got hurt, which was around, the high 80s for his changeup, because that was basically one of his better pitches that he had, his go-to pitch when he wanted to get significant whiffs from batters. So, that's something that I'll be looking at today from him. We'll look to see if he throws a sinker, what it's going to look like, what his slider is going to look like, what his cutter is going to look like. If he throws a curveball, that's basically his pitch mix, that he's had, from 2024 when he was going, and we'll see what all of his pitches look like. So, you know, see where they're hitting, virtually in the glove, where his consistency is at, see where his velocity is at. And the main thing that I'm going to be really looking at, within the next couple days is his recovery uh, after this start that he has, because he is going to be pumped up. He hasn't pitched, for a while since 2024, so his adrenaline's going to be up. You may see an uptick of his fastball, maybe up to, 96, 97 miles an hour, due to the adrenaline that he's got pumping through him. So the recovery that he's going to have coming off of this, this start, depending on how many innings he throws, but we'll see. River Ryan hasn't pitched yet. I think he pitches tomorrow. He's going to make his start. Um, but I've seen him pitch. His stuff looks really good. His velocity looks good. Um, Still don't know what his um, secret pitch that he's been working on. Haven't seen anything that has been written down, and he still wasn't talking about it. At least when I was there, covering the team. So we'll see what that looks like. We have not seen River Hope. We said, yeah, like I said, I think he pitches tomorrow, which is Tuesday. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it is. You can look it up on Twitter because they posted um, the pitchers for the week. Because Sasaki's going to pitch this week. Yamamoto's pitching Friday. He's going to get one more start in before he takes off, and which is going to be Friday at some point. So so we're going to lose Yamamoto, Diaz, Smith, and Kim probably at the end of the week because they'll all be going over to their teams for the WBC and getting ready for that. So uh, it's a good thing for those of us that that apply for credentials who don't get them all the time, but a lot of the Japanese reporters are going to be gone, so it's going to be a little bit easier to put in for credentials for the next couple of weeks with the WBC going on with a lot of the reporters and the photographers being covering the games over there. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Hey Craig, how you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, Roki could be tomorrow. Like I said, I don't know the schedule. I didn't have it like sitting right in front of me. Um, so yeah, he could be tomorrow, and you're right, he could be tomorrow. And I think River Ryan's pitching after him, so we'll see what happens. So yeah, we are leaving. Those guys are leaving, this week. So this will be the last week, like I said, for Yamamoto, Diaz, Smith, and Kim, and they'll be going over to their teams. The other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about was competition at second base, which I kind of touched on a little bit. Uh, was it, like I said, my first week, 6 days that I was over there, which was the first full week of open. I was there 2 days before the actual gates opened, and then I was there a few days afterwards after the gates opened. But I was able to see Hassan Kim and Freeland and all of them because they were all there early also before the full team had arrived. And Kim looked really good, in his live BPs. It seemed like the Dodgers had him every time a pitcher that was doing a live BP on the on field number 2, which I call it. Hassan Kim was one of the batters that was always there, and he seemed to get some really good hacks in. His swing looks to be a little bit better. His strength seems a little bit better. His ability to hit opposite field um, looks like that's what he's worked at quite a bit and was able to push pitches on if they're pitching away from him. He's able to push those balls to opposite field. So he's made some pretty good adjustments um, in the off season. Um, the spring training games that he has played, he's gotten some hits. But like I said earlier, he looked like the old Hassan Kim from last year yesterday. He did get a really good hit that went up the middle, but he did chase a lot. He did chase a couple pitches his previous at bat, and he did strike out. And it was almost like he reverted back to the old Hassan Kim. So if he gets in today, well, I think he is playing today. No, who's at second today? No, Freeland's at second today. Looks like he may be getting a little bit of a break. But if he does come in at the later innings, we'll see what he looks like today in regards to that. Alex Freeland hasn't been, played a little bit of shortstop the other day. Has gotten a couple of hits. So it looks like he is starting to get that bat going, especially yesterday when he hit that drive at the opposite field and down the right line, and scored two. So his bat seems to be going pretty well. We just need to see who has the better glove at second base. Um, as far as the fielding position in regards to the better glove, I'm going to give a slight edge to Hassan Kim only because of his speed, his ability, to move into the gaps, to be able to get the balls a little bit faster than Alex Freeland. And his glove is just slightly a little bit better, in my opinion, than Alex Freeland is. So I'm kind of giving the edge a little bit to Hassan Kim as far as getting that start at second base at opening day. But it could be Miguel Rojas, who knows? Um, but I'm kind of giving a little bit of an edge. But Alex Freeland is starting to creep up pretty fast and could overtake him, depending on what his bat does, because the bat's going to um, kind of have a big decision point for the team, and who's going to be able to hit better. Okay, Rivers on the weekend or next week in order for Stone Sasaki. Okay, all right. That's why I like Freeland's elite plate discipline. Doesn't chase much. Yeah, he definitely doesn't. Chase a whole lot. Espinal looks good at third, hitting and fielding. Espinal looks really good, especially during. He's had some decent hits. He's gone opposite field on the hits that he has gotten. He does have a pretty strong arm. He's getting to the ball very well. So yeah, he's doing pretty good. The other guy that's been kind of impressive, which is not really too much of a surprise to me, is Nick Senzel. He's always had a decent arm. He's been a good fielder at third base. Last year in Oklahoma, he went on different runs and as far as the consistency of his bat. But so far during the spring games that he's played in, he's hit and he's looking pretty decent right now. So we'll see how far Senzel goes. Um, Freeland's supposed to be Mookie's backup. He could, you know, he definitely has the potential for it, but we've talked about this in our Discord is if Noah Miller is able to get his bat and be able to hit the ball at an above average level, Noah Miller is a way better shortstop than Alex Freeland is. So the only problem with Noah Miller is, his bat and his inconsistency, at the plate. At sometimes he will chase a little bit, but he does have a pretty good eye. He does take walks, as we've seen I think it was the second game when he was playing. He took a walk that was there. He actually has a hit, already. But yeah, Noah Miller's glove, his play at shortstop is, way above average. In my opinion, just as far as the glove work and knowing the position, um, I give Noah Miller, this is kind of a bold statement, which people probably get irate about, but I think Noah Miller is slightly above Mookie Betts right now. He just can't hit. You know, he can't hit very well. But his ability to play the shortstop is up there. He would be a starting shortstop for a lot of teams if they would pick him up. So yeah, so got that's going on. Kind of talked about Hassan Kim. Kind of talked about Alex Freeland and seeing how they're going and the back and forth that we will see from them. Freddie Freeman makes his first start of the spring training today at first base. We'll see how long he goes. Typically, all the starters will go around, 3, sometimes 4 innings, depending on how they feel. So we'll get to see Freddie Freeman for the first time, what he's going to look like at the plate. His defense is always good, so there's no worries in regards to that. He has kind of, I don't want to say struggled, but he's still kind of searching from the live BPs in the batting cages that I seen while I was over there. It seems like he was kind of searching, to get his timing down, to get his consistency back at the plate. So we'll see what he looks like today. Hopefully, he'll get at least 2 or 3 plate appearances, and he'll be able to find his stuff. I'm not too worried about Freddie Freeman. I think his bat's going to play, just as much as it did the last few years, even though it's kind of decreased a little bit from 2024 and 2023. But I'm not too worried about him. Finds type glove, just swings at 50-pound bat. Unfortunately, yeah, yeah. I you know uh, I really wish he'd be able to figure things out, at the plate, but we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, if he becomes just an average hitter or maybe slightly above average hitter, that's going to go a long way for him. Um, for other teams, he'd be a good trade candidate. Um, Definitely. Watching him the week that I was there and seeing the coaching staff interact with him, you know, just from what I've seen, what the way that they talk to him, the amount of work that they're putting into him. The coaching staff seems to be pretty high on Noah Miller and his ability at shortstop. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. In the time coming on what's going to happen with him and the other players. But yeah, Freddie Freeman is definitely making his start. Like I said, totally looking forward to it. Wonder when we see your favorite trade chip. Don't know about Bobby Miller. Didn't even see him pitch at all. Uh, he did go back in the back. I didn't see any of his bullpens that he had. And the only time that I saw him is when he was coming out of the clubhouse, went through what I call field number 1, and was going back to the backfields to do their stretching and their warming up before their bullpens, where they were going to get started at. So haven't really seen him, uh, but we'll see about Bobby Miller. We'll see about him. You know, It'd be great, to have him come back and, have a bounce back year this year. That'd be amazing, especially for him. When I criticize players, it's not like I don't like these players. I just there's just, some criticism that's there, and, I like some players better than others, and but, that's okay. That's okay. A decent reliever needs to just sinker and change up fastball. He definitely can. I mean, last year when his first couple of times that he came out as the relieving spot, in Oklahoma last year, um, he looked okay. He kind of struggled a little bit. He was in his head a lot, but as the games went by, he got a lot better. He seemed to be a little bit more comfortable in that new role and was able to pitch a little bit more efficient. He did, draw a lot of walks as a reliever. When he was first starting, he was walking a lot of batters, but his fastball was still, high velocity. But yeah, his command was just off, and was walking a lot of batters. Yeah, that's been his biggest thing, from the start is his mental toughness and ability to be able to be on the plate, be able to push through things and get out of innings, especially when things aren't going right. Does he have the mental toughness to be able to push through that? And so far, It doesn't look like it. It seems like he gets in his head a little bit more, and his pitching just, like, goes downhill after that. Oh, yeah. I kinda saw that. I saw that, Craig. There's been some writings on it. There's been some discussion about, Dave Roberts wanting to, be the WBC. Uh, the thing that I hope for Dave Roberts actually is, he is the manager for the Olympic team since, they're all the games are gonna be played at a Dodger Stadium. I'd really like to see him, following Tommy Lasorda's, footsteps, you know, because he's virtually surpassed Lasorda in my opinion, and one of the best managers from the Dodgers organization. I was always a big Tommy Lasorda fan. He was able to get a gold medal as the Olympic head coach, and that'd be great to see Dave Roberts coach the Olympic team and actually get a gold medal. So yeah, that'd be amazing. Gardo under his wing, he's just a couple fine tuning away from being a elite reliever. Yeah, he definitely could, you know, especially when, there's no language barrier in between the two. So they'll be able to talk on a personal level. So he could definitely do it. I think Diaz is definitely going to be throwing this week since he's going to be departing this week also from the WBC. So we're definitely going to see Diaz at some point in one of these games that's coming up um, either today, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. So we'll definitely see Diaz pitching in one of the spring games because, like I said earlier, all these players that are in the WBC, this is their last week of spring training camp until their team is busted out of the WBC or the WBC ends, and then they end up coming back the last week or two. So um, can't wait to see Diaz. Was in the clubhouse, listening to him talk to reporters. Seems like a super nice guy. Saw him pitch, a few times in his bullpen. He looks really good. So I'm super excited to see him. If you go to our channel, and look at the video that I posted of his interview, you'll see just the way that he talks and his mannerisms, the way that he holds himself and talks to the press. He's a very respectful guy. So super excited to have him on the team. Great addition. I just you know hoping he can bring what he did last year, improve on it, and be that much better for the team. Because it'd be nice to have um, the Dodgers have a dedicated closer who could throw the ball hard, throw the ball consistently, and get batters out. So we'll see what happens. So that's what I got today. So when I do these streams, I'm only going to be doing about 30, 35 minutes. They're really short. Just kind of want to discuss the players that are going to be playing, in today's game. Like I said, I'll go through the lineup one more time. And we got Miguel Rojas starting at shortstop, Tucker starting in right field, Smith at catcher, Freeman at first, Teo at left field, Paz at center, Freeland at second, Senzel at third, Hirio at as the designated hitter, and Gavin Stone as the pitcher today. So super excited to see Gavin, take the mound today, get his start. Rooting for the guy. He's an amazing kid. So hope he has a really good bounce back year. I still think that he will start off the season in Oklahoma at least for about a month or so. But I'm hoping he gets on that rotation. It's going to be a battle between him and Emmett Sheehan. And who's going to take up that six spot in the rotation. And with the talks of Blake Snell, not being ready, you know, not knowing how long he's going to be out, and if they put him on the IL, that's going to open up another spot. So it's going to be a battle between Sheehan, River Ryan. If Gavin Stone is not going to go to Oklahoma, and they're just going to, just keep him on the roster, you know, it's going to be a battle between those three to see who's going to be pitching and going to be on the 26-man roster during opening day. So appreciate you, Mike. I'll definitely be in Discord around the game time. Hopefully, sounds good. Showtime. Thanks for showing up. So with that, thank you all for coming in. Appreciate it. And we'll look forward to probably talking to you again tomorrow, and to see who's about the start of the starting players for tomorrow game. So I'm going to try and do this about maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and just trying to set up a schedule for us and to be a little bit more consistent in the streaming portion of it. So I appreciate all you guys who came in. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, all that good stuff. And like we always say, God bless and go Dodgers.